Aries, hello and welcome to your summer 2024 shapeshift reading. We are looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shapeshift looks and feels like for the summer season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I'm joined today by the Kim Krans set. We have the Animal Oracle, we have the Wild Unknown, and the Archetypes. We're going to use all three as we pull cards for your summer shapeshift. These readings are meant to be viewed at the beginning, middle, and end of the summer. So you'll watch it 3 times over the course of the entire season so that you can check back in with the reading and see how it's unfolding as your real life is lived through the season. Okay, Aries, show us your shape shift for the summer. Oh, cute. Okay, so I wonder, are you getting a little bigger, Aries? Shifting from the firefly to the butterfly? From night to day? From illuminating the darkness to being illuminated in the light? Okay, cool. Getting bigger wings. All right, that's interesting. That's just some initial impressions. Let's look at the Archetypes deck and see what that shapeshift from firefly to butterfly looks and feels like for the summer for Aries. Yeah, cool. Yep, totally. This is your energy. This is your ruler, Mars, the warrior, someone who is willing to fight. Really also just gorgeous that we have this really intense image, and this image of someone who is willing to show the more aggressive sides of themselves in order to stand up for something that they believe in or fight for something that they believe in, between two very delicately winged creatures of the air, Jupiter and Gemini. I mean, here, let's just look at it together. Firefly, the warrior, butterfly. It's like, it seems to be speaking maybe to the ways in which you are engaging this Mars energy, this warrior energy, engaging it in an air type energy. Let's just start by reading the warrior at the center and see if anything specifically stands out to you as I read. It says, the samurai, the soldier, the advocate. We often envision the warrior as an armed figure with sword in hand, moving blindly towards battle. And yet the deeper aspects of this archetype bring us face to face with death itself. The warrior stands precariously at the edge of life and death, trusting the eternal to guide the sword's blade. The warrior's work requires presence, alignment, and purpose. If and when the warrior loses its center, meaningless confrontations and violence are their default response. When this card appears, it is important to question the battle at hand. It is likely a great one with deep roots and long-standing tensions. The actions that you take will stay with you long after the dust settles. So choose wisely, brave one. As you draw your sword, realign with the eternal wisdom within and surrender to your battle. When in balance, the warrior has fierce clarity and acts with purpose and resolve. When out of balance, this warrior is threatening and abandons its mission and values. Be careful, as the warrior implies war. The two go hand in hand. Those who defeat others are strong. Those who defeat themselves are mighty. Without a true purpose, manifesto, or oath, the warrior is lost. So what do you stand for? What are you willing to rise in the name of? And then it says to write it out. Okay, very interesting to write it out because this is air energy, and then we get into the animals, your firefly, your butterfly, which are creatures of the air. So let's understand. Clearly there is something in this reading that is encouraging you to stand strong in a central clarity around your values and your morality. It's hard to give a reading like this in the middle of a genocide when here sitting in the vantage of the US, my tax dollars are paying for this and I'm just watching it unfold on social media. It's hard to receive a reading like this. And of course, it's you, Aries, that is talking about this, ruled by Mars. Of course, you're going to talk about war. You're going to talk about killing. You're going to talk about violence. This is a thing within you, Aries, that on some level you understand. And the warrior asks you to, if you are not currently clear on your stance, clarify your stance and consider how to fight and how to wield your sword. Interesting, again, another symbol of the air element and of like using your voice and using your communication as a tool. How to wield that with clarity and resolve. Specificity, not out here just flailing and causing upheaval and causing, like confrontations where they are just unnecessary, or where it's just like not the highest and best use of your time and your energy. But here you are with this morality, this central stance that you are willing to go to bat for, that you are willing to face the edge of life and death for this. It's like, first, what is it? And then let's look to the firefly and the butterfly to understand how you are wielding that, or how the cards are offering you some way to harness that energy this summer. All right. And just so you know, I'm reading this in the midst of Gemini season, so I don't know what has already transpired on the world stage by the time you get this reading in the summer. That's my context. Okay, Firefly. Inspired and fantastic, yet fleeting. Okay. The firefly contains the light of 1,000 stars. It's pure, it's radiant and illuminating. This high frequency charge cannot be sustained for very long. Therefore, the firefly card indicates a moment of inspiration or awakening that quickly fades if we don't catch it. There is firefly energy behind every poem, every song, every invention. Our job is to be ready to harness that creative spirit when it graces our path. What can you do to support this precious and elusive light? When in balance, the firefly writes, creates, brainstorms. When out of balance, the firefly burns out quickly or feels dull. To bring it into balance, write a poem, draw, create something. Okay, it's amazing too because summer is the season of the firefly. This is the season where, like, July, at least in my part of the world, the whole field fills with fireflies. And it's also interesting too that, like, in many parts of the country, at least that I know of, the firefly is less and less visible. It's not seen. The populations are dwindled. I'm really, really lucky here where I am that I can still see so many fireflies light up a field. And I wonder if there's something here, Aries, about like your creativity, because it's seems to be piggybacking so far off of your spring reading, which talked a very similar message about how you raise your voice in conjunction with others as this like powerful togetherness response that is not only advocacy for your beliefs and your values, but is also creative. It's also this like creative expression that you join together to offer. So I wonder if we're talking about something that's like, okay, you're harnessing the power of something that comes and goes in your energy, in your creative energy. Maybe you're not always feeling that creativity. Maybe it's really fleeting for you and it feels hard to sort of like grab it, catch it, apply it, because it's so rarely felt, rarely seen by you. Okay, we'll know more when we look at the butterfly. Undergoing great change and transformation. Okay. The energy of the butterfly is with us during periods of transition. Since air is the element of the heart, okay, this change usually involves relationships. Or if you love your job, maybe it's your career. Or I don't know, like I would say creativity is a matter of the heart as well. Since transition is accompanied by some amount of discomfort, be extra patient and kind during this time, especially if the butterfly is you. Let solid friends and activities support you like a cocoon, committing to one daily routine, a meal, a practice, a prayer, done at the same place and the same time. This consistency will do wonders for lifting the butterfly's spirit during that transition and change. When in balance, the butterfly is cheerful and graceful. When out of balance, the butterfly feels fragile and frustrated. To bring it into balance, lean into that daily routine. Okay, so there's something in both of these insects that have come out for your shapeshift that is asking you to root, to ground. This is talking about something that sort of like blinks, comes and goes, is very sort of like ephemeral and transient. Hard to capture that light when it's there and harness it. And the butterfly is talking about needing to lean into something a little more consistent, routine, that can ground you and make you feel rooted during a time of like great transition and great change and great upheaval for you. Maybe this is a personal transformation. Maybe this is an ongoing process of transformation in regards to your creativity, or in regards to how you express yourself, how you express your beliefs and your values, and how you harness that creatively into some sort of like artist's voice, you know, like it could be something like that. Or of course it could be the energy of a big change in relationship and you needing to sort of like stand up for yourself or stand up for what is true for you. Because the butterfly to me feels really Libran, and that's your opposite. And Libra is very interested in relationships and is a sign that talks about relational dynamics. So I don't know, Aries, exactly how this is going to play out. It's leaving us in this sort of like nebulous space, and we're going to have to use some more decks now to clarify. So if this is resonating with you so far and you want to see what this warrior surrounded by the firefly and butterfly has to say for you this summer, I invite you to join me for the full reading. You can click the link in the description box below and that will take you to the shifting space. This is where we investigate these shift readings for all of the signs over the course of the summer season together. We will watch readings together. We will chat in a community chat space about the transits that are happening and loop in the astrology of it all. So if this kind of tarot astrology investigation is your thing, I hope to see you over there. Click that link in the description, join our community, and we will take a look at this reading for your summer shift together. Okay, Aries, let's clarify. You know what else it is, Aries? It's a levity, maybe. Because the fighting, the violence, the ongoing like horror and atrocity that we are witness to in the world on the global stage right now is it's heavy and it's sickening and it's exhausting. And these are lighter energies. They sort of like uplift. These winged creatures have the ability, especially something so small. Oh, interesting. Okay, especially something so small, to like raise it up an octave because they're so light. They can't carry the full weight of the thing, Aries. They'll never lift off the ground. They're too small. But each one of us individually being these like tiny creatures, you know, like when something so horrible is happening, it feels to me like, well, I'm so small. I'm just this like little speck. But if all of the little specks were to raise up into the air, the illumination, the light that would emanate from them would be visible. Like, you know, if like all of the fireflies concentrated in one area and rose up, it would be probably visible from space, you know, like that light, that blinking light. I don't know, there's just something about that that's like, maybe you're not as small as you think you are. And again, of course, I'm talking about this on like a global scale and like a more collective sense, but take that personally. Maybe you're not as small as you think you are. And maybe what you're fighting for and how you can raise your voice, or how you use your voice in an expressive and creative way to like fight for the things you care about and that you're passionate about. Maybe it matters more than you think. All right, let's pull.